Good evening, all of you. So here we are discussing session management today using Java. Okay. So before that, let us see what is a session. So session is a conversation state between the server and the client. So whenever a user is accessing a particular page, the web server is going to provide it a unique identity. Okay, and that is what we call it as a session, right? And every new request, basically your HTTP is stateless. Okay, so HTTP protocol itself is stateless. That means by default, every request is a new request to the server. Server do not keep track of the user's progress or user's interaction. It will not keep track of user's interaction to the web server. Hence, there is a need of session management. Now look at it. Now what is the session tracking? Now session tracking means it is simply particular interval of a time, a period of a time on which the user, the end user stays connected with the same site. Okay, and session tracking is a way to maintain state of an user. So state of a user means what all he has done and whatever he is currently doing it. Let us take for an example of maybe a shopping cart application. What happens, a user will select a, so maybe whatever he's purchasing, he will just tick those things, he will choose certain things and he will add it to a cart. Similarly, there will be n number of other users who will be using the same web application and they will be putting their products on their own carts, right? And by default, the web server do not have a mechanism of tracking the individual carts of each and every user, right? Hence, it is absolutely essential that the session is being properly tracked. Okay, the user's cart, whoever is selected, whatever the items the user is selecting, that items only need to be charged, okay, for certain amount of time, and those items need to be delivered to the particular user. Okay, so it has to be very exact match. Okay, so the cart has to be carts, whatever it is, that has to be separately maintained at the server side, right? So see this HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol. Each time user requests to the server, server treats the request as new request. So we need to maintain the state of an user to recognize to a particular user. Now, why should a state be maintained? When there is a series of continuous requests and response from a same client to a server, server cannot identify from which client it is getting request because HTTP is a stateless protocol. So when the server is receiving continuous requests, okay, from the same client, it by default cannot identify from which client the request is coming. Okay, so now you ask like why there is a need. Okay, when there is a need to maintain the conversational state, session tracking is needed. Now, for example, in a shopping cart, as I was saying earlier, a client keeps on adding items to his cart using multiple requests. Now, when every request is made, the server should identify in which client's cart the item is to be added. So, in this scenario, there is a certain need of session tracking. Now, try to understand this one even in a better way. See, I will access one of the sites now. Let us say www.bigbasket.com. Okay, so this is a particular website wherein you can keep keep adding, or you can buy certain things. So you are new to basket, so see here will be choosing some items. Let us take here, let us take something, fruits you will pick up, and from the fruits, let me put this one. Okay, so some fruits and vegetables, these are, I'll just say add. So what is happening? There is a new request getting generated here. So I have added some onions there into the cart, right? There is one request created. Now when I click this one, again another request is going. So how do the system know that my previous request has onion? Maybe some other user sitting beside me, he also has purchased something of his own. So there is a need to maintain the state of the user, okay, with whatever the request that he is making. right? So let's go ahead, look at this ones. Now, when there is a need to maintain the conversational state, session tracking is needed. For example, in a shopping cart application, a client keeps on adding items into his cart using multiple requests. Now, when every request is made, the server should identify in which client's cart the item is to be added. Okay, so in this scenario, there is a sudden need of session tracking. The solution is that now when a client makes a request, it should introduce itself by providing unique identifier every time. And there are 5 different methods of doing it. Okay, so there are 5 different ways through which a session tracking can be done by the server. Okay, so the techniques are, or the methods you can say, one is user authorization, wherein every user is being given some identity, means username, password, and then it is being taken care from there. Then there are something called hidden form fields. Then there is a third method called URL rewriting, a fourth method called cookies, and the fifth one is session tracking API. Okay, let us see the things, the little details about everything, but I'll be covering mostly onto the session tracking API. Okay, but let us see what is this user authorization. Now, users can be authorized to use the web application in different ways. Basic concepts is that the user will provide username and password to log into the application, and based on that, the user can be identified and the session can be maintained. Right? This is basically done using normal programming only. You'll be creating some HTML pages, you'll be creating a servlet, and then you'll be doing the work. You'll be storing the data, and then you will identify the user by his name and password. So every time he does it, he's going to provide his username and a password. Then based on that data, you will be identifying the user. The second technique is hidden form fields. Hidden form fields means you will be creating a HTML field in this fashion. So here see, input type is hidden, name is technology, value is servlet. Right? This is what we have written. That means what is happening? See, input type hidden. So it is simply like a test field. The only difference is test field is visible to the end user and hidden field will not be visible. But yes, it is visible when you open the source code of any of the web page. Okay, if you open the source page of the source code of the web page, you can even find the data that is written inside a hidden form field. So hidden fields like the above can be inserted in the web pages and information can be sent to the server for session tracking. So unknowing, okay, you can make the user, okay, see, for the users, for the end user, only the visible components, maybe test fields or radio buttons or check boxes, these things are visible, but a hidden form fields are not visible. So but for the web server, none of them are visible. For the web server, none of them are visible. Everything is just like some component and there is some name associated with it, some value associated with it, and that data is going to the server as if that is being typed or sent from the server. So we will be writing a program with the help of hidden form fields, means we will store some data, whatever is required for session management, in the hidden fields, and then we send it to the server along with the other data. Right? Now, see here, the advantages of hidden field is it will always work whether cookie is disabled or not. So there is another technique about cookies. That time I'll tell you what exactly is a cookie. Okay. So by the way, to give you a little brief about that cookie is a small text file. Okay, it's maybe a 4 KB of size. It is created by the web server for the client. Okay, and it is having some lifespan. Fine. But there are something like a cookie, to make a web server create a cookie at the client side, a browser must support cookies, right? If browser doesn't support cookies, then through cookies you cannot manage sessions. Otherwise, if the browser supports cookie, then there is a possibility that you can use session management using cookies. So hidden form field, if you do hidden form field, there is no, you cannot hide, user cannot hide or means user cannot do anything with the hidden form field. Okay, it will be there, okay, if you create. But cookies, yes, whoever is using the website, okay, from a certain browser, if you are trying to access a website, in that browser you can yourself disable the cookies and then work with. Okay, so there is a possibility of disabling the cookies, but there is no possibility of disabling a hidden form field. Right? Now, disadvantage of hidden form field, if you look at, it is maintained at the server side. Okay, this is maintained at the server side. It's an extra form submission is required on each page. So every page requires some extra form submission along with the other data. Okay, so you will be putting some data through hidden form fields. Only textual information can be used. So this is another disadvantage of hidden form field is the data that can be used for tracking is only a text-based one. The third technique is through URL rewriting. Now URL rewriting, maybe if you look at the original URL, if it is so like this, right, then rewritten URL will be something like this, wherein you will be appending a key and a value pair. Okay, you will be appending a key and value pair. That is what we say it as a request parameter. Fine. So with certain value. So any URL can be programmatically changed. URL rewriting is one of the techniques wherein you can change the URL programmatically. Now, when a request is made, additional parameter is appended with the URL. And in general, see, along with the request, so whenever you submit a form, a get or a post request is generated, right? URL rewriting, when you do, it is generating a get request. So when you do a get request to the servlet can use the request.get parameter method and access the attributes. Okay, the URL rewritten attributes. So this is where you say here, this is what is a attribute. So you can write anything out here and any value. If you want to send any data, okay, from a client to server through URL rewriting, this URL rewriting technique can be used. Now, so here when a request is made, additional parameter is appended with the URL. In general, added additional parameters will be session ID or sometimes the user ID. It will suffice to track the session. This type of session tracking does not need any special support from the browser. It also do not need any special support. The disadvantage, if you look at, implementing this type of session tracking is tedious. It's a tedious process. We need to keep track of the parameter as a chain link until the conversation is totally completed, and also should make sure that parameters doesn't crash with other application parameters. This is what is one small issue or a disadvantage. The advantage is it will always work whether cookie is disabled or not. So this is browser independent, and it is also URL rewriting is also browser independent. Extra form submission is not required on each page. Okay, so you need not require, unlike your hidden form field, you need not put some extra form submission. Now disadvantage is it will work only with links. It can send only text information, and also it is limited. Length is limited. The URL rewriting, the total length is again limited. It also again depends upon the browser. Right. The fourth possible technique is cookies. Now cookies are the mostly used technology for session tracking, and cookie is a key value pair of information sent by the server to the browser, and this should be saved by the browser in its space in the client computer. So as I was saying earlier, a cookie is a small text file with will have some key and value pair. It is being created by the server and it will be stored at the client side. Right? This should be saved by the browser in its space of client's computer. And whenever the browser sends a request to the servlet, it sends the cookie along with it. Then the server can identify the client using a cookie. So every time request is sent, a cookie is sent from the client to the server, so that the server will identify the client easily. Okay. Now, how do you do this? Means a small little bit of code here you can look at. So cookie object is equal to new cookie. You are giving a key and value pair. See, every attribute, whatever you create, whether it is using a cookie or a session, okay, it is a key and value pair. Right? In URL rewriting also you have a key and value pair. So here the cookie name is user ID. The value associated with it is some unique number. Okay, some number. Now this is response.addCookie. Now this res here is an object of sorry, of HTTP servlet response. Okay. So response.addCookie. Now with the help of this, you can add cookie. Okay, response.addCookie adds a new key. It is allowed. It is used to create a cookie. Now who will create the cookie? The servlet will create a cookie, or a web server will create a cookie. And once a cookie is created, it's not enough. you're supposed to add the cookie to the client. So this is how you add a cookie. So session tracking is easy to implement and maintain using the cookies. The disadvantage is that users can opt to disable cookies using their browser preferences. In such a case, browser will not save the cookie at the client computer and session tracking will totally fail. Okay. Now some commonly used methods we look at from the cookies class. You got set max age. Okay. Sets to the maximum age of the cookie in terms of seconds. If you write maybe 600, it will stay 10 minutes, 600 seconds. Okay. Get name. So every cookie will have a name like this one here. When you create a cookie, this actually is a name and this is what is a value. You can check whether a particular cookie exists in the server, in the client or not. In the server, you can write a program to find whether what is the value of a given cookie using get value method. You can retrieve all the cookies that are available on the client by using get cookies method. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of cookies? It will not work if the cookie is disabled from the browser. Only textual information can be sent through cookie object. So this is a disadvantage. Now, if you look at all the above methods, it is always text related information that you can pass on from session to session. Now, what if it is not a text information? Okay, so that is where we are talking about session tracking API. Now, session tracking API, so the best one. The session tracking API is built on top of the first 4 methods, and this is in order to help the developer to minimize the overhead of session tracking. This type of session tracking is provided by the underlying technology. In Java, servlet container is managing the session tracking task, and user need not do it explicitly using Java servlets. Now, this is the best of all the methods. Okay, because all the management and errors related to session tracking will be taken care automatically by the container itself. Now, every client of the server will be mapped with a session object. I mean HTTP session object, which is a class interface under HTTP servlet HTTP package. And Java servlets can use session object to store and retrieve Java objects across a session. Now, herein the object can be saved. It's not only a text, it can be any kind of an object. And session tracking is at the best when it is implemented using session tracking API. Okay. Now let's look at it. Now HTTP session as an interface. Now container is creating an object session ID for each user. And the container uses this ID to identify a particular user. An object of HTTP session can be used to perform basically 2 tasks. And the 2 tasks are binding objects and view and manipulate information about a session, such as session identifier, creation time, and last access time. Right? So how do we get a HTTP session object? Fairly easy. You will be using the HTTP servlet request interface, okay, which provides basically 2 methods to get the object of HTTP session. One is get session. Directly HTTP get session, it returns the current session associated with this request, or if the request doesn't have a session, it creates one session, a new session, right? And there is another method, HTTP session get session, and there is a Boolean method. Boolean create means if you write true, returns the current HTTP associated with this request, or if there is no current session and create is true, it returns a new session. So when you write true, and if you think that the session is not created, then only it will create it. So commonly used methods. So what are the commonly used methods of your HTTP session interface? So one important part is get ID. So get ID is giving you actually a session ID. It's a hexadecimal unique identifier value. It is being automatically created by the web server for the client. Public long get creation time. So creation time, at what time the session got created. So that if you want to access, then you can use the get creation time. It will give you a number of milliseconds since January 1, 1970. Okay. So basically displaying the long value will not be preferable, but if you want to display the creation time with the date DDMMI format, probably you have to use a date API and then create a date object using this number of milliseconds. Right. Get last access time. So when is the particular site being accessed? That you want to check. Then you can do this. Similarly, invalidate method, which will actually kill the session internally. Right? If you write invalid session.invalid, then what will happen? The existing session or the existing attributes associated with the HTTP session are killed automatically, right? But yes, remember, invalidate will kill the existing session, but your browser will not be closed with this method. The browser will still be active with the new session automatically. Now, servlet, we will see one small example with this get ID method. Just have a look at it now. So I have created one simple servlet called show session ID servlet. Okay, this is show session ID servlet. Have a look at it. Just a second. Let me share my screen. Okay. Look at it. So this is what is one servlet created called show session ID servlet. Now what is this servlet doing? There is a doGet method coded. Very simply, I have created one print writer object. This is to print the ID. I just want to print the session ID that is being given for any particular session and the creation time I want to show. So I've used the date API here. I'm creating a new date object with the creation time of the session. Session.creation time. And I would like to display the session ID and I would like to display along with its creation time. Now when you run this, say I'm saving it, I just run this one. Okay. Fine. Have an observation. This is just now 551 here. Okay. And this is what is your ID that is uniquely generated and given by the servlet. Now if you go and just check this, I will just say access, copy this. I will try to put it in a new browser. Okay, let me open one browser, maybe Internet Explorer I will use. Okay, so let us take this one. So when I paste this URL, it is going to give me a new ID. See, this ID and this ID is different. If you look at, just compare this ID and this ID is different, even the creation time differs. Okay, and if I copy this into the same tab, again another tab, see here, this is a new tab of the same Internet Explorer. You are going to get the same one. See here, this is the same ID. You can just look at 512A30. Here also you got 512A30 created at 170036. This is also created at 17036. That means, what do you understand? So every time, suppose you create a you want to be in a site website, and the same website you open in a new tab. Okay, basically by default it uses the same session. By default it uses the same session. If you want to go with the new session altogether, okay, you have an option of new session here. So you need to go to file and new session. Now when you create a new session, you get a new browser window. In this, when you type it, you are going to get a new session ID. See, this ID and this ID now different. They are different. So this ID is totally different than this one. This is also Internet Explorer. This is also Internet Explorer. But because you have opened a new session here, you are going to get a new session from the server. So by default, the server automatically manages this session. Okay, by default, automatically the sessions are identified or created based on user's browser page, whatever the browser is using. Fine. Now let us experiment it little differently. Now, what I was saying you earlier in the theory was, you can kill a session, right? If you want to kill a session, the thing that you can do is you say session dot invalidate. Now what does this mean? So when you run this program, Okay, when I do session.invalidate, okay, and okay, first let me see once again. So without session.invalidate, we'll run it again. Let's have a look once again. Okay, now when I refresh it, it remains the same. See, session is not changing till I remain in the same page. I want to go with a new session, then I need to open a new browser, or probably I need to open a new session here itself. Say for example, every time I refresh it, I want a very new session. In such case, probably session.invalidate will do it. So just added one word called session.invalidate here, and then I'll run it. Okay. Now what will happen? A session is created, a time is given, and that session is killed. Now when I refresh it, again it will be done. See, every time you are doing, creating a new session at a new set of time. Okay, created at such time. You go and find this is a new session. Right. And you just go and catch it in anyone. Now you go and check with the Internet Explorer here. Okay, I'm just checking this in the new tab. Okay, see this one, this and this. This is 170036. This is 170355. Now the only reason is as soon as you are accessing the website, you are creating a session, you are killing that session. So killing the session means killing the existing section, not to close the browser. Okay, it will remain in the same browser only, but our session variables, session attributes, session IDs, everything is killed. A new set is given. So when you say session.invalidate, and if you try to print it again, it is going to give you the new one. Okay, so the next thing that I would like to next example I would like to take is a login logout example, which is very important and mostly used one. So in this example, we are creating three links basically: a login link, a logout link, and a profile link. Let us say user cannot go to profile, so we want to ensure that profile page is not clicked until a user logs in. Okay, if a user is logged out, he need to log in again to visit the profile. So suppose this is what is the thing that we want to do it. By default, without any session management, session techniques, this is not possible. So you have to do session techniques, session management only. So what we did is, what I did is I used the HTTP session management techniques. So we have created some files like index.html. I've created link.html, a login.html, login servlet Java, logout servlet Java, profile servlet Java, and as usual your web.xml or your deployment descriptor. Right? Now in the index.html, let's see this now. So let us open the demo. Let us take session demo project. So it's a login logout demo project. Let us see this. So in this, we got index.html. This is the welcome file. By default, this is the page that will be executed as soon as I open the login logout demo project. Okay, as soon as I open this context, so this is the page index.html. This will be executed. So what I have done here, I am displaying three links: login, logout, profile. If you click login, it will take me to login HTML. If I click logout, it is supposed to take me to the logout servlet. If I click profile, it is supposed to take me to the profile servlet. Okay, so let us try to understand. Say user has clicked this, then he has clicked profile. Profile means it is going to execute the doGet method of profile servlet. See, href for hyperlink references, always whenever you do, it is calling a doGet method of a corresponding servlet. So profile and logout are calling doGet methods of logout servlet and profile servlets. So let us first check what is happening when somebody clicks login. So login, once it is clicked, it is going to activate the login.html. Let's see login.html. This is what is your login.html. Login servlet is, login HTML is taking username and password, right? And after entering a username and a password, when somebody clicks a login button, the submit button, login submit button, we are taking it with a post method to login servlet, right? Now, what is this login servlet doing? Just have a look at it. In the login servlet, This is a login servlet. So in the login servlet, we are trying to access a, see, first we are displaying these links. As soon as the login servlet, as soon as somebody is clicking in, we are trying to display the link.html. Link.html is again to display the same three links: login, logout, profile. This I have just given it so that somebody logs in, he should be able to log out. So those are the three things that we have given. So we are displaying as soon as this method has come, as soon as the login servlet is activated, whenever the username password is submitted, we are displaying the link for login, logout, and profiles. And also we are checking, we are accessing a name and a password, whatever is typed in the HTML page. If the name is Satya and the password is Prasad, then what is happening? We are displaying the name and we are creating a session. See, we are obtaining a session. We are obtaining the existing session. We have added an attribute. This is the way you add an attribute. What is the attribute addition happened? So the name of the attribute is name. The value of the attribute is the username that you have typed. So username, basically whatever you have typed is, that is being taken. Now, in case the username and password is not Satya and Prasad, then we are displaying, sorry, username and password error, and we are also displaying a login.html. We are including the login.html in the page. Okay, we are including the login.html in the same page. Okay, so now let's look at once somebody clicks this, once login happened, assuming that the login happened, that means username is password is given correct. So what happened? You are creating a session, okay, and then you are not navigating anywhere. You are not navigating. See, you are not navigating anywhere. So how do you navigate? The only way you navigate is through this link.html, which is already displayed on the top of the page. So that is what is your links. So now a user is able to log out, or he can click the profile. So he can activate the logout servlet, or they can click the profile servlet. Let us click this profile servlet and see what is being written here. So once somebody clicks this profile servlet, we are accessing the existing session. See here, it's a very important line here. We are saying HTTP session request.get session false. That means we are saying that do not create any new session, okay, if session doesn't exist. That is what is the meaning of it. And what it will do is it will try to retrieve existing session, whatever is there, and it is not going to create any new session. Now in such case, if session is not a null, that means if there is an existing session available, we are trying to pick the attribute that is being set in the login servlet. So login servlet, if you look at, we have set this attribute called name. So this is being accessed in this profile. So here we are saying name and saying that hello, welcome to the profile. We are simply displayed. That means somebody has logged in. If this exists means what? If a session is existing means what? Somebody has traversed to this page from login servlet. Okay. Now herein, otherwise means what? If suppose their session is not available. Session is available only when it is being traveled from, means it is being coming from login servlet. So in such case, if session is null, we are saying please log in first, and we are giving him a login page to login, so that he'll log in and then he'll come back. Now have a look at a logout servlet also. So when somebody clicks a logout, then we are simply obtaining the existing session. So you are obtaining the existing session, whatever the session he is, and we are invalidating the session, and then we are saying you are successfully logged out. This is a printing message, and then we are closing the writer. Okay, so try to pick this. Now what I do is I'll run this program. Right click, run as, run on server. Removal, just finish it, restart the server. Now when I go with this login logout, what will happen? By default the index page have come, index.html has come. Now I have not logged out. I'll click this profile. Now see what is happening. When I click the profile page is not able to find the session, available session, hence it is saying login first, and it has given me a login link. Okay, So every time I click this, it is giving me this page only. Right now I say Satya and Prashad. Now what happened in the index.html? Okay, see in the index.html, sorry, in the login, this is a login.html file, right? So in the login.html file, what I've given Satya and Prasad. On click of this login, it takes me to the login servlet. Login servlet is comparing this name with Satya and the password with Prasad, and in such case, it is creating a link. So it's saying welcome Satya. Okay, so when you click this profile, it's saying hello Satya, welcome to profile. And when you log out, we are successfully logged out. When you click this profile again, it is asking me to enter it once again. Okay, so logout will log out, but it will be active only if you give a username password. See here. So we are not using any database works or so, but this is okay. Now if you look at hello Satya, welcome to profile, right? Now go and click this one. See profile servlet, I copy it. I will open your Internet Explorer. Okay, in this case, I'll just type it. So it gives me a new location. This is there you have logged in, doesn't mean that you have logged in here. It is a separate session automatically. Okay, so now you say Satya here and Prasad here and say login, it takes me here. Okay, now copy this and put it in this servlet. Okay, in this location. So it is still there because it is the same session. Want a new session? Open a new session tab. Try this profile. It will not allow you. It is asking you the login page first. Okay, so I'm logging it out. Just try to understand once again. We'll try to explain this once again. Just look at it once. So what all we have taken? We have taken an index.html page. Okay, this is a simple welcome page which is allowing you to display this login, logout, and profile servlet. Okay, login, logout, and profile servlet. Now somebody, if clicks login, it goes to login HTML. If it is logout click, then it will go to logout servlet. Profile means profile servlet. This is the default directions. Now inside that servlets, what you write that really matters. Now let us take somebody has clicked login. So login means it will go to login page. Login page is accepting username and password. It is being posted to login servlet. Okay, there is a link page also. This is a page that we are repeatedly displaying in all the page because he has to traverse from one to the other. Right? Now let us take the login servlet. Now login servlet, we are displaying the link HTML. Okay, so as soon as somebody successfully logs in, we are going to show him login, logout profile. Then we are accessing a name and a password. If the name and password matches, then what we are doing, we are creating a session. And in that session, we are setting a name called name, attribute called name. Password is the username. Now, if the name doesn't match, let us take the names doesn't match. Okay, we say logout and say login. We type some ABCD here. So it says sorry username password error. Okay, that is because of this else part here. Sorry username password error. And we are displaying the login HTML again. Okay. Now let us take once this is being successful, it will remain in the same page. Okay, it will remain in the same page, but it will display welcome so and so. It will display welcome. The name may be Satya here in this case. So welcome Satya, and it is creating a session. Now the user clicks the profile servlet. Okay, because the user here, with the help of this button, user can click the profile, and once he clicks this, okay, he will be directed to profile servlet. In this profile servlet, what is being written? So because that is a href, it is a do get request, right? And we are accessing a print writer. We are creating a print writer object. We are displaying the link again. We are trying to access the existing session. Say request.get session false here. It means that not to create a new session, but to give an existing session if it exists. Now, if it exists, means session is not a null. We are trying to display it and saying that welcome to profile. If session is not existing, Then you're saying please log in first and request.get request is further login. So we are saying please log in first. Along with it, we are trying to give him a login page so that he will log in easily. Okay, so run it once again and just check here. Retry it. Now I say log out. You are successfully logged out. Now if you click profile, it's not taking me. But when you click login, it takes me to the login page. Login page, you can say Satya and then press start. So as soon as you do it, it matches. So as it's saying welcome Satya. And because of the link that is given on the top, it is displaying this. And now if you need to click this profile, the href will act and will go to profile servlet. In the profile servlet, it will find that there is a session already available because that is created in this login servlet page, and it gives you the data. Now when you click the logout, whatever the data that is, it will be session is invalidated and killed, and it is closed. Okay, so this is what is about a little onto session management. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much.